Brother, how you doing?
I'm doing good, man.
Yeah, man. Welcome to the Herfador, man. I appreciate you accepting the invite.
Oh, man, it's all good, man. Man, personal culture for me.
All right. So this is the Herfador. You know, we're gonna smoke, we're gonna sip and fellowship. We're gonna talk about, your business and everything like that, and just a few little things. Just have a candid conversation, some good fellowship.
Okay. This thing doesn't go up any further.
So while I lay flame to this cigar right here, why don't you go ahead and let the people know your name, your social media handles.
On social media, man, my name is Donnie Edwards or Donald Holbrook. It's government. It's CuttersCigars, man. It's CuttersCigars on IG, CuttersCigars on Facebook.
Okay. So what exactly is CuttersCigars?
When I first started CuttersCigars, I wanted to be immobilized, but then I got into the education of selling accessories.
Mm-hmm.
So now, if anything that you want to do with cigars, I can help you. I'm willing to help. Well, I'm gonna try to help.
Okay. So more on the educational side.
Yeah.
What you smoking on over there?
We got a Fausto by Tawahe.
Okay. I'm smoking on this CAO. I guess it's called the Pilon, Pilon with the little thing on top. First time having it. It's a pretty good cigar. So how long you been smoking cigars?
About 22 years.
I figured it was a long time when you made that face.
Had to do the math.
What got you into cigars?
Man, when I was in college, I went to, I was in Cincinnati. And man, it was a point where we had no clubs because, always fights and stuff. So they had a cigar bar downtown called the Havana Martini. And we knew we had to get dressed up. And man, so, you being 22, 23, and we put on our best Easter suit, man. Went there and the music damn near stopped when we walked in. It was a fish out of water,
Yeah.
Manager, she came over. Her name was Lynn. I remember this. She came over and she said, I'm going to do y'all a favor. I'm going to teach y'all how to smoke a cigar. And, man, ever since then, man, I've been smoking cigars, man.
Yeah, it's not a lot of shop owners that'll do that for people that walk in. That's big. Most people, they just...
A restaurant / jazz club / cigar bar. It was way better. I mean, this is in the 90s in Cincinnati. It was
right.
Way ahead of its time. And, for her to sit there and after that, we was there every other Saturday when that band was there, because it was a black jazz band, in my 20s, so I wasn't ready for the Latin music, but, when that band played,
right.
We started. My first cigar was a Prince Philip Macanudo.
Oh, wow. You remember your first cigar?
Oh, yeah.
I think my first cigar was something by Rocky Patel. I don't know which one. It was something by Rocky Patel. I know that much.
Yeah, I remember, man. Used to come to little tube, man. The Prince Philip, the Hampton Court. There was another one. They had like 3 of them. Like at the time, Macanudo, they was the big dogs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like on yesterday on the podcast, I was talking, and I say when I got into cigars, the only cigars that I knew about was Cohibas and Rocky Patel. That's all people were talking about around me. So The first thing I was able to get to was a Rocky Patel, and now, knowing and seeing so many different cigars and everything just opened up once I really got into it. I don't think I haven't touched the Rocky Patel in quite some time, but it's just so many different cigars out there.
Right. It's kind of like, with all these boutique brands, kind of like all these craft beers. I mean,
Right.
people are knowing the culture, and I mean, they're making some good stuff that, they breaking the regular rules. And with that, it makes it cool. You know what I mean? It makes it cool.
Yeah. They doing what they want to do. They making the cigars they like to smoke. And like you said, they breaking the rules because they're going against these powerhouses who have been doing it for years, and they just say, you know what, we're gonna do it too, and they're holding their own. If not, eventually,
yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
I was saying last night on the show yesterday, I was saying that I feel like the boutique brands are gonna eventually be the big dogs. Like,
oh yeah, I mean,
people are gonna look for those as opposed to the already established name brand, like the big dogs. They're gonna be looking.
Yeah, because I mean, in I don't want to name a brand because I don't want to disrespect no company.
Right.
But where I started from, they was the big dog. I remember, when Punch came out, and I was like, oh, Punch was, now you had these newer brands, and they're gonna become the Rocky Patels and the Monte Criscos, and the Fuentes, and they're gonna become those regular household brands. But it's kind of like, we had Michael Jordan, but man, when Iverson came to the league,
right,
like we know the Bulls
he
gonna
changed
win,
it,
but we gonna watch him over
right.
here. You know what I mean? That's it. I mean, everything just comes in cycles. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Changing the game. That's what it is. They changing the game. Like I was having a conversation at work, and we were talking about LeBron and how he's taking the power and giving it to the players. And that's huge, because now it's no longer, just the bigger cigar brands. Now you got these power players that are boutique brands that are putting out amazing things, and they're real power players in this. Not only that, they're putting on their own festivals, which, that's huge too.
And starting their own lounge.
Exactly.
Or, the branding of the lounge, I mean, it's cool. I mean, it's always growth.
Right. And the fact that you can tell that they're putting love into it, instead of doing it for the money, they're putting so much love into it. And I love to see that.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. So what do you look for in a good cigar?
I look to see what country, sometimes, but I like, I want full body, if not medium to full. And I like Robustos. I like the shorter sticks. Let's get straight to the point.
Right. You want the flavor right there.
Let's get straight to the point. So I tried smoking the smaller ring gauge, the smaller length cigars, because I want that blast. Because, when I smoke cigars, I try to smoke 2 or 3 in one sitting, because, I'm trying to learn to sell cigars, promote cigars. So I don't have time to smoke a big cigar and it's going to take 2 hours, 2.5 hours.
Right. You got to go and get them flavors and understand it right away.
Yeah. I'm learning. I'm going.
I don't think you ever stop learning when it comes to cigars. It's always something to learn.
And that's what I tell people. They're like, "What's your favorite cigar?" I'm like, "The next one." Like,
that's the true fact.
The next one. That's my favorite one. Like, I'm because there's so many brands, so many cigars out there. There's no way I mean, you can name something, but you haven't tried everything. So,
right.
so when people ask me that, I'm like, hey, I mean, when they keep badgering me, I'm like, I'm really digging this, but my answer is the next one. That's my favorite.
Yeah.
You know?
Because I saw a post online that said there are no bad cigars, just cigars that you haven't tried yet. It's like if it's not for me, then somebody will love it. So I don't think it's a bad cigar unless it's poorly made and you smoking it and one side burn halfway up and the other side don't burn
Coming
at
out
all
of
or so.
apple. Yeah.
Yeah, all of that. But other than that, if it's not for me, then it's just not for me. Somebody else may be
They
their
might
their
love it,
go-to,
right? Right. They
So
might love it.
yeah, I don't think it's a bad cigar. Just my preference would be Maduro full body cigars. That's my preference. Everybody's got their own preference, you know. But that's a good answer. I'm gonna start using that. The next one. When people ask
Yeah.
me what's my favorite cigar,
The next one.
the next one. So why do you smoke cigars?
Yeah. Well, when I started, like I said, it wasn't that many clubs, but once I got in there, it was a barrier breaker.
Hmm.
Where when I learned or starting to learn what I was talking about, it didn't matter what color was the other person in the lounge. They respected me because I knew the leaf or I was learning the leaf.
Right.
So when the hashtag came out, Brothers of the Leaf, that don't have no color. You know what I mean?
Right.
If you know this thing, or you got a serious interest of this thing right here, it breaks barriers. You know
It
what I mean?
does.
It
Yeah.
could be a judge sitting next to a four-time felon, just to pick opposites.
Right.
But they both might, like that same cigar, the same palate. So I mean, it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? It's a barrier breaker. That's
Right.
why I like cigars.
That's a great answer, man, because the culture, and the fellowship is a big reason why a lot of people smoke cigars. Like for me, the relaxation and the fellowship is the reason I smoke cigars.
Right.
Because you can, like you said, you could be sitting next to somebody who you would never talk to anywhere else. But the fact that you're sitting on this chair and they're sitting in that chair and you're both smoking cigars, it's as simple as what you smoking. And
Man,
2-3 hour conversation had.
that person become your best friend for the next 60 to 90 minutes. And
Yeah,
then, you leave kind of confused, like, man, we not as different as I thought we were.
right,
You know what I mean? And it's like, okay, like I was talking, my first experience, I was dressed up, because that's the venue.
hmm
But let's say your first time smoking a cigar, you going fishing with your father or your grandfather and your brothers, and y'all out there fishing, y'all catch some fish, y'all frying fish, y'all cracking open the beer. You're not dressed up, so you don't have the hat and you're not dressed up, but it's like you said, it's the company, it's the the camaraderie that you have with your fellow man. And hey, who don't like cracking open the beer, fresh fish, talking with your family and friends. And that's
right,
totally different from being dressed up, going to a fancy place, smoking a cigar. So
exactly.
it's about this. It's about you know um, me and my business partner. We always say it's for the culture. You know what I mean? Like you
Yeah,
it's you can be dressed up or you can just be sitting in your garage. It don't matter.
right,
But you're talking to people. You're opening up and you're learning about yourself as well as other people.
exactly. Finding, just getting different viewpoints on different things. Yeah, Teo, you're right. There's a cigar for every occasion. There definitely is a cigar for every occasion. You're sitting down, you whether it be just a fella sitting down, or whether you, like you said, you're dressed up in a formal setting. It's always something for the fellowship and the camaraderie. And this thing, like you said, breaks barriers and opens up doors all the time. You know,
Yeah.
as since we own the culture, um, you know, a few years ago, before social media popped up, you know, what's going on, Carolina Blue? Um,
Yeah, that's my big
before,
brother, man.
oh yeah,
Yeah, I don't know if you seen that post yesterday. Yeah, man, that's my big brother, man, Chris
yeah,
Moore.
I gotta give me a couple of them sticks. I gotta try them out. I hear good things.
Okay.
Um, but about, you know, before Instagram was real big, um, the the cigar culture almost, I'm not gonna say it didn't exist because it did, but it grew with Instagram. Like,
Yeah, I mean, I think we discovered one another. You know
right,
what I
right,
mean?
right,
That's the best way to put it. We discovered one another because, you know, before social media, some people like, you smoke cigars, be like, they stink, is this and that. But there's a whole group of people who love that smell, who understand that smell. And I just think with social media, we discovered one another. We're like, hey, there's a group for me. I mean, kind of like a motorcycle club. You don't understand the bond and the brother and sisterhood of cigars, not unless you win it. Just like a
right,
motorcycle club, they got a bond. They like truckers. When they pass each other, they hurn. It's a
right,
you know what I mean. And I think with social media, the biggest thing it did for cigar smokers, it opened up because I have like Carolina Blue. I met Chris when I like first got into cigars. I mean, I wouldn't not first got into cigars, but I jumped out
early
there,
on.
man, I want to make it a business. I want to do something, and man, I was DM him like, yo, man, I want to be a rep. I want to do this. I want to do that. And then he was like, okay. Then I was like, oh, shit.
Now
Like,
what?
oh. I
Now
was
what?
like,
All right.
like, oh, okay. Foot went in the mouth. You know what I mean? But, and then I learned to get serious about business.
Right, right.
And then I hope she get to see this, but lipsticks and fingertips, down there in
Hmm.
Atlanta.
Yeah, yeah.
I contacted her, because she had the mobile lounge, and I'm like, oh, I want
Right,
to do that
right.
here in Cleveland. I want to do that here, and she told me, get your paperwork right.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? And man, to me, like, that was the biggest thing ever. That was like the best thing ever. It's like, get your
yeah,
paperwork right. So then I had to do research of getting my paperwork, getting my vendor's license, getting the OTP here for the state of Ohio. I learned. So, I mean, it went from 0 to 60, real quick,
yeah,
because
yeah.
I'm like, oh, because I didn't put my, I didn't told this dude in Carolina that I can, because I got to get the gas, so I'm like,
Right.
so I had to speed
You
it up.
talked up
Like,
on it. Now you got to come with
hey,
it.
this is a 2-minute offense. Like, but that was also the beauty and the power of social media, because I'm reaching out to people that taught me things to get in this business and take it serious. And, how like you go to a store and they got their first dollar taped up.
Yeah, yeah.
I felt like that, the first time I did a pop-up. I got all my paperwork right. I did this and that. It was the Cleveland Browns versus the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Hmm.
And I had a box of flavor cigars that was black and yellow. And the dude bought the whole box because he was a Steeler fan. It's probably one of my first posts, so you'll probably have to scroll. That's like 4 years
Scroll
ago.
all the way
So
down.
you got to scroll all the way down. And I ran out of cigars because I sold out. So my
That's a good
first
thing.
time popping up, like, and it was like
But the
11:30.
first pop-up.
My first pop-up, I sold out, and it's like 11:30, and I'm like, the game don't start till 1. Like, what I'm gonna do? You know, I got a pocket full of money.
Yeah, you got no more cigars to
I'm like,
sell.
so I had to close up. Then, then that taught me inventory. Then, it made me start thinking, about a whole bunch of, other factors that come into running a business.
Right.
Then, I realized that you got to do your research, how much you're going to sell them for. Because I'm like, yeah, I got a pocket full of money, but I realized I got to have more money. You know what I mean?
Right.
So you got to do your research. What this cigar sell for, this and that. And I didn't know that Pennsylvania is a major player in the cigar game.
Really?
Yeah, so when they say broadleaf, that leaf come from Pennsylvania. When they say Connecticut, that leaf come from Connecticut. These are not just names.
See,
so everybody thinks
you're always
South
learning.
America and this and that. No, that's here. You know what I mean? It's here. I mean, so it made me research and do more work, and like, you'll be surprised. You know what I mean? So
Yeah. See,
like,
here I thought Connecticut was just the color.
Not but it really did. I mean, so like, and if you get into selling cigars, like, the Cigar International, they headquarters is in hope I'm saying this right, Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. You know what I mean?
Wow.
So it's like, you learn when you get in there, you start researching.
Yeah.
And so that first pop-up, like I said, I sold out, and it's 11:30, and I'm like, so
Nothing but conversation left.
right. So I did what most Browns fans do. I got stupid drunk because the best part was tailgating. Now the Browns
Right.
playing decent football, but 4 years ago, I think that's when we went 0-16. But that first game of the year, we all got hope. You know what I mean?
Right. Maybe even game two.
Right.
Now let's discuss the rise of Black-owned cigar brands right now, because they everywhere. It's a bunch of them, and I love it. I love to see that.
Yeah, it's needed. It's needed.
Yeah. I think that's a great thing for the entire culture.
Like I said, I got on social media. I seen Carolina Blue, and it was a golf outing. I mean, I'm going way back. Like I said, you're gonna have to scroll way back on his page.
Right.
And I got an interest in golf. And I'm like, man, I can do this. I could sell those. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know how you see something, it's for you, like, man, I could do this. And I remember I also was talking to I can't think of his name. His name is Dean. You ever heard of Epic Cigars?
Yes.
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 And I was talking to Dean, and I can't think of his full name, but he told me, like, well, if you gonna, because I told him, like, man, I'm about to work with Carolina Blue, because, man, I was inquiring, like, looking for a job. Anybody I saw on social media, I was inquiring.
Yeah.
And Dean was like, well, you got to pick, because I want you to concentrate, saying, on getting them in stores. So I like, well, I'm gonna roll with, my man Chris and Carolina Blue, and it's good to see that Epic Cigars now, you can buy them online. And I also talked to Casey Hagen. He make Crux cigars. You ever had a Crux?
Yeah. I had.
Man, I was out there, man. Like, I was talking to the newer brands that's coming up and that's making waves. Man, I talked to all of them. I mean, I was busier than the devil. You know what I mean? So I talked to Casey, Crux out of Minnesota. I talked to Dean. He down there in Florida. And he sent me a picture of him with the owner of the Jacksonville Jaguars, Sean Khan,
Yeah, yeah.
but it was something like, nah, I'm gonna stick with my boy Chris in Carolina Blue. But man, I was inquiring, I could sell these. You know what I'm saying? And
Right.
really, because this how I started. I don't know if you remember or know about before the government changed the rules. Gurkha used to have an advocate program or an ambassador. Well, if you sign up with Gurkha, they'll send you 1 or 2 boxes of cigars for free. You get 20, 40, sometimes 60 boxes of cigars, and they just wanted you to go to the lounge and introduce them. You know what I mean? And I always used to make this joke, like Gurkha was like the master P, the no limit of cigars, because Gurkha got so many lines. So they used to send stuff, and this was 2016. So Cleveland, we had the RNC here, the Republican National Convention.
Yeah.
And I was just in the lounge, and I met the Gurkha rep. He's like, "Oh yeah, man, I'm gonna sign you up, man." They signed me up, and man, this is so funny. So the week of the RNC, I kept calling this dude, and he wasn't answering his phone. And I'm like, man, we about to throw this party. I'm thinking I'm about to get paid.
Yeah.
I'm like, so, man, I get bold and I call Gurkha down there in Florida. Because I want to know, like, man, I can't reach the rep.
Yeah.
This
what's going on?
This the RNC. I can't reach the rep. They told me, hey, Ray, the lady said it's so smooth. He's been fired. What? What?
He was wait. Was he fired before or after you talked to him?
He must have got fired between the time I met him and by the time the RNC started. Some in between there, he got fired. And I won't say his name, but
yeah, we're gonna let him make it.
right. But I called down, because I'm like, man, I can't reach this dude. And right then and there, I was hooked though. I knew I wanted to sell cigars. You know what I mean? Then I think the following year, that's when I seen Carolina Blue, or it might have been late 2016. I got into it, man. Like I was all over, man. Like there was another cigar company out of Key West, Florida called Rodriguez.
Okay.
They got some great cigars, and same thing. I called them up like, yo, man. I put it on Instagram. I didn't know the power of social media. I'm like, man, this is the best cigar I ever had in my life. Not knowing. I mean, I smoked a lot of cigars, being smoked
right.
Back then. It was probably about 19, 20 years, I've been smoking for a while, but man, it was just something different. And then I just kept learning. So I was like, you know what? Before you put it on social media, you need to know. Right. What I mean? Before you start talking. And it just kept going from there.
And that's the thing, man. These like we were saying earlier, these boutique brands, like the brands who are putting so much love into it, they're watching social media for their product, So when they see it, or you tag them, or you post it, they have the time, I guess, to actually respond to it and react to it. So, and that makes people like me feel great when I post something and that cigar line either likes it, comments, or reposts it.
Right. Yeah.
That makes me feel great. And it's nothing too big. It don't cost you nothing to hit the like button if you see it, if you come across it. And it makes the person feel great. And they're like, okay, well, I'm definitely smoking more of these, just because. But it's also the fact that they're putting out great products. Cigar Boss, I have not tried Conscious Cigars yet, but I'm working on it. I'm definitely working on it.
Conscious Cigars is very, very good.
Mm-hmm.
A good friend of mine moved to Tampa, came back to Cleveland, like, here, try these. I tried those Conscious Cigars, and I got nothing but good things to say about them.
Yeah, I got to get my hand on one of them.
I'm going to Tampa pretty soon, and this will probably be my second stop. The only reason why I say my second stop is because Davidoff is like 2 miles from the airport.
Right. And they
right
definitely
there.
putting
So
out
that's
quality.
Why. But Conscious Cigar is very good. Very good cigar. Nothing but good things to say about them. If you haven't tried them, please do. Go get them.
Yeah, man. That's he was out here in Houston he was putting them in Legacy Cigar Lounge out here. I wasn't able to make it to the cutting light, but so I got to get me got to get my hands on them. I got to get my hands on them. So what obstacles have you encountered in starting your company?
Getting that paperwork right, because each state got a different tax and a different law for tobacco.
Mm-hmm.
And you transporting, you buying stuff across state lines. You got to know it. I mean, you can get your hands on it, and you can make dollars here and there.
Mm-hmm.
But this happened to me when I got all my paperwork. State of Ohio sent me a letter saying you owe $37,000. I was like, what?
Oh.
I'm like, I owe $37,000 because with the Ohio OTP, you got to file every month, even if you don't sell nothing. You still got to let them know.
Right.
So it, like I said, you want to start a business. Find out what is your state laws. That's the biggest thing. Like, Ohio, it's hard to get a cigar lounge because the building got to be freestanding. They got to be there. It's certain rules, so it's like, But then you go to a different state that embrace cigars, like Georgia. If you can rent the space out, you can start a cigar lounge right there. So each state have their own different laws, and you got to know it. If you want to be like a cigar company selling to different state or even bringing them in, however you want to do it. If you want to be a brand or you want to be a lounge, you got to know the laws. You got to know where you can get them and, what's the laws, because when I got that letter and said I owe $37,000, I'm like, man, I ain't sell cigars like that, but
right. But then they want them taxes.
They want you to file every month if you sell 1 of 100,
Mm-hmm.
So I had to learn.
Yeah, you gotta learn all of that and get that paperwork right, man. You got to. Let's talk about a little bit of cigar lounge stuff. So what's one of the most annoying things you have encountered in a cigar lounge?
I guess when I see people judge other people for what type of cigar they smoke.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
Because it's to your palate. It might be a guy 6'4", 300 pounds, but if he want to smoke a cherry flavored cigar, that's his choice.
Right, let him smoke what he wants.
like let him smoke it. Like, people kind of prejudge people like, oh, like I said, I like to smoke Robusto. I like the shorter sticks because I want to smoke 2 or 3 cigars in a setting.
Right.
And some guys like, man, I feel like I'm getting cheated. That little cigar, costs more than this big cigar. I think I'm getting more bang for my buck. I'm like, he don't know about the leaf. He don't know about the preparation in the cigar.
Right.
Like, you can't can't judge it by the size. You gotta know what you're looking for. And so I don't like when people judge other people. You know, like, man, let them. You know, some people like this, some people don't. I mean, you know, you got to mind your own business at some point.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like, it's a fellowship, but it's a fellowship.
At some point, let smoke what you want and leave people alone.
You know, or and I refuse. I just said I would never talk about it again. But the C word, you know what I mean? You know, people like, well, have you ever had a? I'm like, yeah, you know what I mean. They don't know nothing about a cigar, but they want to ask you, have you ever had a?
Yeah.
They're like, okay, you went on vacation, you went on a resort, you know,
you got.
You bought a couple. You got.
You got because it wasn't what you think it is.
You know, now you come back, you know, the Jedi.
And that's all you want.
Right.
Yeah. I think that's my biggest pet peeve. Aside from people licking their cigar and asking to borrow your cutter, you know, my biggest pet peeve is the people that walk in and look, where your most expensive cigar at? I'm like, okay. Or I only smoke the C word. You know, it's like, if that's all you smoke, that's it. Yeah, man. Oh, you just trying to show off.
Right. Like,
you don't know nothing. But like you said, you went on vacation. They sold you a box for $100. That was 5 of them in there, and that was some Black and Milds with a different label on it.
Right.
You got, but it's okay.
And now you can come back and judge everybody.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good one. Somebody always borrowing your torch. Yeah.
Now, the first time, okay, yours might have been out or whatever, you know, but sometimes some people need it 6 or 7 times. Teo, you my brother, so we good on that. But there are people who you don't know who would ask to borrow your torch, and all they doing is tearing their cigar up. They keep on lighting it every pull, and they done burn half of the cigar. The other half ain't burning.
And they not tasting nothing. They done burned all the
flavor
out.
Nothing at all. They tasting
that's like putting charcoal. Too much charcoal fluid on coals. You know what I mean? Like you oof. You know, like like all the coals white. Like, you know, it's
immediately.
It's cooking meat in 10 seconds. Like, you know, you
something ain't right with that.
Flavor, all the juices. You done killed everything out of it. Like
everything.
You know, it's a slow roasting. It's a it's a leisure hobby. You know what I mean? But I think people get a kick out of seeing that flame and smoke. You know?
Yeah.
You know,
they think that they gotta light it every time. They want the most smoke, and what you're doing is you pulling in nothing but soot, and they don't understand that. But they don't care because you know they smoking the C word, and they done paid $30 for it. So
right, and so they
your little $7, $8, $9 stick, $12 stick ain't nothing compared to theirs.
or when they heavily dip a cigar in cognac or bourbon or you know, that's another reason why they need your lighter, because you know, like that bad boy is soaked. So,
yeah. Cigar ball say people who smoke a cigar and a Newport cost the same. People who think a cigar and Newport cost the same. Yeah, man, you're right. People who come in there, they're like, oh man, $12? You ain't gonna get this for no 50 cents. Sorry, this ain't no 2 for $1 in here, but that's my.
I'm not gonna say this because I know people who say this, and I like, please do not put them in the same category. But when people
don't say it.
No, you know, when people say, oh, you know, I smoke cigars. Like, oh, what you smoke? Black and Milds.
Oh, get out, get out.
I know the box say cigars, but
get out.
Like, really?
Yeah, get out of here. Get out of here. Either learn or get out of here, because that ain't no cigar. Man. So what are two of your most important principles, whether it be life or business?
just enjoy yourself. I mean, like, cigars, you can do it in a group of people. You can do it by yourself, and you can still enjoy it. Just, like I said, you don't have to be dressed up and all fancy to smoke a cigar. Just enjoy yourself. Just sit back, and you don't have to play jazz. It's not stereotypical. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
If you like trap music, you can smoke a cigar listening to trap
Listen to
music.
your trap music.
You don't have to put on John Coltrane to smoke a cigar.
Right.
You know what I mean? So my thing is enjoy, be yourself and enjoy yourself. That's what it's about when it comes to smoking cigars. Be yourself and enjoy yourself.
That's real good, because you got people who, like you said, they think that if you don't smoke a cigar with whiskey, you ain't doing it right. Man, you know what?
If you like
If you
tequila, smoke your
if you
cigar.
like tequila, if you want to drink some tea, if you want to drink some water, if you want to drink Kool-Aid, do what you do. Do what you do.
Yeah, that's what it's about. Enjoy yourself.
Yeah, man, you definitely got to, man. You definitely got to enjoy yourself. Do you have any advice for anyone starting or thinking about starting a company?
I think I said it earlier. You got to get the information. Because we're talking about cigars right now, but there might be two more people who know way more than we know. It's not a competition. It's a self-paced business, and it's a self-paced hobby. You learn at your pace. You can't compare yourself to nobody else. You just gotta. You always learn, like we said earlier. It's a self-paced thing. You can't. Like you said, you can't judge a cigar by the band.
Right.
Artwork. You can't judge it by the price tag. That's marketing. That if they think they can get that for that, God bless them. So it's self-paced. That would be my advice. Just you learn. Like I said, the first time I sold a desk humidor, and I didn't have the best cigars in there, and I didn't I didn't know, you know what I mean?
Right.
Did I get that customer as a return customer? No, because they probably smoke, different stuff. I don't want to say better because I don't want to judge no cigar, but they probably is more, deeper into cigars. So it's self-paced. Don't try to talk up your cigar knowledge or game. You learn at your pace. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, man. I love that, because I've been smoking cigars for probably 15 years. Well, I can't say. Well, yeah, maybe about 15. Yeah, about 15 years. And I learn every day. Like you said, Connecticut leaves come from Connecticut. And I had no idea. I thought that it was just what they called the lighter wrappers. I had no clue. But you learn every day, and in business, like you said, you got to pace yourself. Yes, if you thinking about starting a business, go on and do it. But like you said earlier, get that paperwork right, and learn before you jump into it. You got to get that information. That's definitely great advice for anybody starting any kind of company.
Right. I see some of the comments. I just want to say I love Buicks too. You know what I'm saying? I'm born and raised from Flint, Michigan. I'm from Buick City. You know what I'm saying? I love Buicks too.
Yeah, Buicks. We got 76 deuce and a quarter. Yeah, man. Man, it's something about this whole culture that it causes you to be it forces you to be yourself at some point. You know, you can try and fake it all you want, and you'll fall off. You know,
Right.
regardless of if you're selling or if you're just smoking them, you're gonna get found out. You know, they say real recognize real, and the thing is, when somebody's smoking a cigar, you'll know exactly off top if they know what they're doing. If they everybody thinks they know everything about cigars. Yeah, I can't say everybody because I don't, but it's a lot of people who think they know everything about cigars. You walk into a cigar shop, you got a guy smoking. He want to pay $50 for a stick, and I go and get one of them unbanded house brands for $6.99,
Yeah, that's a
and
great smoke.
and I'm telling them, hey man, look, uh, this is better than that. You know, try
Mm-hmm.
this. You know, well, nah. You people think that the price means that it's better. You know, and that's the one thing about cigars that I can say for a fact. The price doesn't necessarily mean that it's better. You know, you got people who want to buy it. They just want to show off. And
Right. Yeah.
when you're doing that, you're losing because there's so much out there.
There's so many brands. You will never smoke all of them. That's why you just gotta, like I said, pace yourself and enjoy yourself because you're not gonna smoke all of them.
Right. You ain't
You know
gonna
what I
smoke
mean?
them all. It's impossible to smoke every brand of every cigar of every brand that's out there. You know, they keep coming up. Yeah, Teo, you're right. You're definitely right. It's all about the enjoyment and the experience.
Yep.
You know. Um. Oh, okay, Carolina Blue. But I keep saying Carolina Blue. Chris, appreciate that. Um. I said that Connecticut is grown in a few places. Ecuador has the most flavorful, but the U.S. has a fuller profile. See, I didn't know that the U.S. was making them at all. I thought it was all from Dominican Republic or Nicaragua or Cuba. That's what I thought. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So I'm learning something right now, you know, and I appreciate that. And I appreciate you for accepting my invitation.
Oh man, no problem, man. It's fun, man. I ain't gonna lie. You know,
Yeah.
I don't like a lot of attention, but I think it was maybe a couple of months ago. I seen your page and I just shot like, hey man, I see your work, man. I like that. You know what I mean? And that's all. I didn't expect to be on here. I just wanted to encourage. I seen somebody working. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I appreciate that. And once you sent that, you opened the door because once you sent that, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna ask him to be on this damn podcast. I'm gonna ask him to be on here, you know.